we say elections have consequences, right? But this guy isn't even in office yet.
Yeah. Well, so there are two things, right? The urgency is passing a government spending bill, which is different than the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling is not set to be reached until summer of next year. So what Donald Trump has now injected into this whole process is he wants to pass the debt ceiling increase now as part of the government spending bill, because we know he's going to come in and explode the deficit like he always does, explode the debt like they always do. And so he wants to make it so that he can basically get through the midterms without having to have a debt ceiling fight, because obviously the debt ceiling fight precipitates all these things that are very unpopular with voters that Republicans want to cut. So he wants to get something that actually isn't needed right now attached to the bill that he just blew up to keep the government open. We don't pass an actual budget in this country because Republicans are obstructionists. Okay. So what we have is continuing resolutions, and continuing resolutions funds the government incrementally. So instead of funding the government for the entire fiscal year, the continuing resolution funds the government for several months. And every time it's this hair on fire negotiation that has to happen to get the government funding. So it's the kinds of things that the Republicans have blocked, that Elon Musk has vetoed, the pseudo co-president, are things like disaster relief. So remember when Republicans were spreading disinformation that there's not money for disaster relief in Florida and North Carolina because illegal aliens, as they put it, are getting all these benefits, when none of that was true. Those same people that spread lies about why they couldn't help people suffering from these disasters are the same people that now are refusing to fund disaster relief. So this is all their choice. And then there were a couple of things that were attached to it as well. The farm bill, which I thought the rural voter was Republican last I checked. So there are all these things that are trying to be attached for a more extended period of funding, not just a couple of months. And then obviously we have the disasters. So those are the things that Elon Musk, the unelected pseudo co-president, and the president-elect, who is not actually president right now, but appears to be running the country through tweet and Truth Social, are trying to block. So Leader Jeffries has, he did a press conference yesterday where he talked about how the Republicans reneged on a bipartisan agreement. Speaker Mike Johnson obviously does not have control over his caucus, so we're going to see all this chaos play out. So because he can't get the belligerent Republicans to sign on the bill, now it has to be bipartisan, and also has to go through the Senate, which is still right now controlled by Democrats, and it has to be signed by the Democratic president. And so what all this shit that's happening, what it all boils down to is that Republicans are dysfunctional, they're incompetent, and they want to potentially put this country in the position where they are depriving our essential workers of pay, because like I said earlier in the show, the government does not actually shut down. The finances that are associated with keeping the government running is what shuts down.
And Congress still gets their checks.
Congress still gets their checks, but the TSA, if you're catching flights, if you're seeing the lines are longer, or all these things are happening because the essential workers are like, screw you, I'm not gonna go to work because I'm not getting paid. That is a direct result of this. And like I said, this is not real life for Elon Musk. He can hop on a private jet. He doesn't have to deal with all this shit. All these people, most of the people are billionaires and millionaires. So they can find a way around the disruption that this is going to cause and the chaos this is going to cause. And the ironic part to me is, Donald Trump benefited so much from inheriting the Obama-Biden economy. And he was able to ride those coattails until he botched the economy with the pandemic.
Single-handedly. Even before the pandemic, manufacturing jobs were disappearing, going down. The GDP was going in the wrong direction. I got to always remind people, even before the pandemic, look it up. Go ahead.
But he got to blame it on the pandemic. And Harris and Biden came in, fixed all this shit. Now, is it perfect? No. But we have the economy that is the envy of the world. Okay. And they did all these things, and on top of fixing the economy, to expand healthcare access, expand the kinds of benefits that you get for healthcare, making it more affordable. I can go on. infrastructure, roads being built, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you would think if you're a smart person, a person who isn't just about cruelty and revenge and punishment and his billionaire friends, that he would say, hey, let's make sure that I don't inherit a shit show. I don't want to inherit a government that is shut down. I don't want to inherit chaos. I got a good thing going. I mean, he said it right after he won. Oh, too bad I'm not getting sworn in today. The economy is great today. Well, you ain't do shit. It was great yesterday too, but y'all convinced these people that it was bad. So you would think, just as an intelligent person, he would say, quit fucking around, fund the government. I want to inherit the most robust and gravy situation as possible. But he ain't even got sense to do that, because he knows that no matter what happens, Democrats get the blame.